Hey, Birkett here, along with Carlos Monarrez, back for another Pick'em, Carlos, Friday before a Lions game. And hey, man, I got to give you credit. Start off credit where credit is due. Um, I have to say, yes, you got last week's game right. I don't know how. I don't know what got into you, but you called it. The Lions on the upset against the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't want to spoil anything here, but I do know what you're writing for Sunday. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you get another surprise up your sleeve for fans.
Betters better pay attention here because I can't be wrong. I'm the oracle now, as you're acknowledging. So yeah,
Don't go that far.
the little teaser is I like the way the Lions are playing, and I like how they're matching up with this week's opponent, with the Saints.
All right, let's dive into this because I mean, look, New Orleans has not played great this year. They're 1-2, but they're still putting up a lot of points. I mean, offensively, they're still doing some good things. They get Michael Thomas back this week. Elvin Kamara second in the NFL in receptions behind DeAndre Hopkins. So, what do you like about the matchup for the Lions?
I like three things: Drew Brees, and Drew Brees. He's just under fire there, and rightly so. If anybody's watched the Saints games, he just doesn't have the arm strength. And I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg thing, but he also doesn't have the confidence to throw deep. He just is so tentative, and you go back and watch any of those games, and even the last one with the Packers, right? The Packers do not have a great secondary at all, and he just would not throw deep. And watching the coaches film, even the all 22, it's not like they have, Darrell Revis and Deion Sanders around there, with, sticky coverage right against the receiver. So his proclivity is always to dump it off to Kamara, and then Kamara has to work magic, and
He does.
yeah, Kamara, and he does. He's an amazing player. But here's the other thing with Kamara, right, is a good testament is the last game he scored in a 52-yard, pass. He just threw it to him. He just looked and looked and looked, just dumped it off as usual. And I think 10 Packers missed tackles on that terrible. I would have cut those three guys who missed those tackles. It was horrible. Give Kamara credit, but those guys, it was like, the Washington Generals trying to play football or something. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So Kamara has to make things happen. And I think the basis of why I like this matchup is the Lions and Patricia's defense are pretty good about identifying the hinge point on a successful offense and limiting that. Like, we're not going to get killed by this one. We're not going to get killed by letting Mitch Trubisky escape the pocket. We're not going to get killed by letting Kyler Murray run up the middle on, broken coverage or whatever it is, making his improvisation plays. They're pretty good about taking things away. The one thing they're not good about is guys like Aaron Jones, like really good running backs who just run up the middle and down their throats. That's something they will struggle against, but that's not Kamara. So
I don't know if I buy your logic completely on this, because Kamara's a pretty darn good running back, and maybe he's not as quite downhill as Aaron Jones is, but you get him in the stretch game, he can do some damage. And look, you mentioned maybe they took Trubisky's running away, but they still lost to the Bears. I mean, this defense is not very good. No, they still lost. I don't care.
They beat the Bears. They beat the Bears. I want you to say it. They beat the Bears.
There's no chance, Carlos. I don't know what you were watching. I don't know what Matt Patricia put in your drink, whatever, but they lost to the Chicago Bears, and they have not.
DeAndre Swift lost to the Chicago Bears.
They have not beat Mitch Trubisky once under Matt Patricia. So whatever they take away of his running game, the defense still isn't getting it done. And that's my ultimate problem with this game from the Lions standpoint, is that I don't think they have enough, whatever it is, personnel, whatever on defense to stop this Saints team. I agree with you, what you said about Drew Brees. I mean, I asked the question this week to a couple of guys, and both Matt Patricia and Sean Payton and who did I ask? Johnny Tavai, right? Players is Drew Brees, the Drew Brees of old. He doesn't look like it. He's throwing 4 yards downfield on average on his passes. So, it's a lot like Phillip Rivers last year, right? These old quarterbacks that come in and the Lions have their way with, and everybody's like, oh, they beat Tom Brady. Oh, they beat, Phillip Rivers. Well, they're not the same that they used to be anymore. So, but that being said, Drew Brees has always lived on his accuracy. I mean, that's been his biggest thing. In this offense, beyond Kamara, they get Michael Thomas back. They got a decent tight end in Jared Cook, Manuel Sanders, another receiver. They have a lot of weapons on that offense. And I just don't think that defensively the Lions have enough to stop, the Saints this week. And then, offensively, look, not like New Orleans has been great on defense. I know they've got some problems in the red zone. I know Cameron Jordan doesn't have a sack. I know there's all those, but it's not like the Lions are lighting things up offensively either, though I do think they have some potential on that side of the ball to get better every week since they're, Kenny Galladay is just getting back. Adrian Peterson's still getting in the swing of things. So, but ultimately it comes down to the Lions defense, and I just don't think they have enough.
Well, I mean, if Desmond Trufant comes back, that'll be a little boost,
He should, too. Looking at practice today, he should be back.
Yeah, I think Okudah will, hopefully he'll get a little bit better. And I mean, I don't know, week to week, I don't know, but that defense needed time to gel, and I think that's what they're getting right now. You saw them play much better last week, and I think they're going to start to play even better as the season goes on. Their weakness is definitely on the defensive line, stopping the run. That is an issue. But the thing that Michael Thomas out there, I just don't see him. He's going to be, if he even plays, more of a decoy type player, high ankle sprain after 3 weeks.
Ago, he had 140 catches last year.
I know, but he's had a high ankle sprain. You don't just come back from, I think they're coming back from this because it's the Lions. We should be able to, every time someone sees the Lions on their schedule, they're like, this is a winnable game. We can't lose an opportunity, if you can get out there. Yeah, I mean, everybody looks at the Lions the same way. They should, but yeah, I just don't like that. They do have weapons. They put up points. But the Saints, they're 1-2 for a reason. They just haven't looked at. I mean, they lost to the Raiders. What's that?
The Lions are 1-2 as well.
They're 2-1.
Yeah, I know.
Lions, DeAndre Swift is 1-2, and the Lions are 2-1. Let's just admit that right now.
The Stafford's turnovers and the defense, they don't have anything to do with those losses.
No, and by the way, they lost to Mitch Trubisky again, and they'll never have a chance to beat him again because he's never going to start again. So I guess Mitch Trubisky ends his career 3-0, whatever, against the Lions. I just think that the Lions are, Stafford talked about this, the little issues in the red zone where they're coming away with field goals and not touchdowns. I think he's been a little bit off. I think he's needed more time. I think you did your film study. I don't know I know you were kind of down on Amendola a little bit, but I thought Stafford is kind of missing him more than Amendola is not running the right routes or whatever. He's had to turn around a few times. Hawkinson's been playing pretty well. Jesse James suddenly came back from the dead. So,
you're right. I looked at what the Saints have done the first couple of weeks, and I do think there is opportunity for Amendola and Hawkinson this week. The Saints, they have two strong cornerbacks, but they tight ends so far and slot receivers so far have had good games against them. Darren Waller had like 35 catches or something like that when they played the Raiders. So that's certainly something. All right, the Lions are going to start availability here shortly. So let's get to our picks. We'll cut this one short. We'll make up for it next week or the week after or something like that. I know you all want to see. Hey, before we go, show them your sweater you got on. Look, I'm gonna use the right terminology too, right? LA Kings. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Cali Carlos over there repping his hometown Kings.
Anybody? I know you don't even know what hockey is, Dave. So I won't even bother you with it. But
it's the ball that you kick, right?
Yes, it's a little black ball that you kick around into the net. So, but for all the people who live in Hockey Town, they know that hockey sweaters are actually great things to wear in the fall because they're not too warm, they're not too cold. They give you a lot of ventilation too. So, one of these days, I'm going to get you an LA Kings sweater the next time they win a Stanley Cup championship next year, probably.
Probably won't wear it, but I appreciate the thought. All right. Predictions. Let's get to this real quick so we can hop on these conference calls with Desmond Trufant and company. But we know you're taking the Lions. Give me a score and a quick summation. Why?
All right, I'm going to go with the Lions here. I'm going to say 28-26. It'll be a close game. They'll both score points. But I think the Lions defense is opportunistic. I predicted the first takeaway last week. I'm going to predict another takeaway this week. I think the Lions – the key is the old what did Caldwell used to say, make them play left-handed. Take away Kamara, you overcommit on Kamara, make Drew Brees throw deep. So if you can follow the game plan, you can do that. You can do what the Raiders and Nevin Lawson did successfully against them. I think you'll have a chance of limiting that offense. It puts up points, but I think also the Lions offense is clicking a little bit more. So it'll be a little bit on the higher scoring side, but Lions win a close one.
Our old friend Nevin Lawson. I've got the Saints 34-27. I do think it's going to be fairly close to I just think the Saints have a little too much offense. But look, your point about the turnovers. I mean, the Lions won the turnover battle last week. Obviously, squeaked that one out. If they win the turnover battle this week, that to me is the recipe to success, because Drew Brees does not turn the ball over much. He gets rid of the ball so quick. So if the Lions can do some things to generate an extra possession or two, and then if they can capitalize on that, I think that's what they need to do to win. Ultimately, though, I see them going into the bye week 1-3. I think this is a pretty desperate Saints team, and I think they're the better team, frankly. And that's why I have the New Orleans Saints winning. All right, we're going to leave it.
One last thing. Just one last thing to watch is the Saints have the most penalties in the NFL. They do not play very disciplined football right now. That's something that will hurt you, as we saw in Arizona, where the Cardinals became the Lions and had too many men on the field and were doing the wrong things, taking stupid penalties. That stuff makes a difference in the game. I think that will make a difference in this game too.
Well, that Ford Field crowd is going to be really loud Sunday, so maybe that causes a false start or two, as well. Joking, of course. All right, we're going to leave it there so we can get to our availability today. But that's Carlos Monarrez. I'm Dave Birkett. We always appreciate you joining us here on Freak.com. And make sure you tune in Sunday, watch that Lions game, interact with us online. We'll have plenty of coverage, as always, afterwards. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, Freak.com.